Hey guys, it's Dr. Sandy, and it is close to the end of February, which is been Black, I want to say Black Nurses Month.
Hey guys, it's Dr. Sandy,
and we need to
it's
mute
close
this to the end of February, which is
goodness
gracious.
Black.
Here we go. We'll just do that. So anyway, yeah, I'm a little wonky still with YouTube. I'm still trying to get used to it. So I want to thank you very much for joining me this evening. I didn't have this posted for a long period of time. It's been kind of chaotic with school and trying to keep up, but everything's starting to look a little bit more interesting and a lot better. So what I wanted to go over to celebrate, we don't hear a whole lot about nursing leaders from, back in the day. We have a lot that are upcoming. I wanted to celebrate and give some history for those that have not heard of these fine individuals that have shaped our nursing profession. And it is paramount that we come together as a society to not only acknowledge people that are doing great things. That includes Black, white. We need, as a nursing profession, to have uplifting, have wonderful things happening, because we are a wonderful group of people. Yes, I'm saying me too. Because you know what? Sometimes we have to acknowledge the hard work that we're doing in order to get things out there. Not a lot of people pay attention because everybody's caught in their own way of life, their own thing, right? So, but I wanted to dedicate tonight to, talk about the nursing leaders of past and to help bring insight to how much leadership and the struggles there, and how these badasses, if I could say that in a professional sense, these badass women, and there's also men out there, I'm going to find you, that are doing everything in their power and have done in their power to change the nursing profession. You don't get change by sitting back and letting it happen. There's a lot of blood, sweat, tears, self-doubt. There's going to be times that you wonder if it's going to get any better. It is going to get better. It's already getting better. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through a few of these wonderful people together. So I apologize. I'm a little bit tech challenged. So let me share my screen. Is this thing going to even work? Of course not. So my computer is not acting the way it's supposed to. Oh, wait a second. Maybe it's just me. Okay, hold on. I gotta allow this to go through. I just got a new laptop, so everything is just a little bit not working the way I'd like it to work. Okay, so hopefully this will work. Share screen, and it's working. Oh. All right, so I don't know if you could see that screen. Okay, so now this thing is just being wonky again. Okay, so we have several women that we're going to talk about tonight that are purely amazing. And I'm going to start. So we have our first nursing leader, Miss Lavinia Dock. Now, Miss Lavinia Dock was born in 1956 to a family that did have money, but she decided that she wanted to become a nurse. And as we know in the nursing profession, there's not a lot of money in nursing. So, but you really do need to have a heart for it in order to maintain and continue and grow within the nursing field. She studied at Bellevue Hospital School of Nurses in New York City and worked as a visiting nurse for 20 years. She also supervised the yellow fever. It was a little unit in a little hospital setting that was kind of like a makeshift hospital / unit, almost similar to like what we would see with these pop-up COVID tents that were out there. She went to help patients and help people that were in the flood in Pennsylvania way back when. And she wrote also the first nurse drug book, which I thought that was really super awesome, Materia Medica for Nurses. She's also in 1890, she became the superintendent of the School of Nurses over at Johns Hopkins. And when this young lady would talk, the whole room would stand up and listen. It would be standing room only. And I would have loved to have been in the same room and listened to her talk. Through her badassery, she got jailed quite a few times and served some sentences during some demonstrations at the White House in order to end, segregation and also fight for our rights. She was a little bit more on the left-wing-ish side. Again, we don't take any kind of political sides. She is one of our nursing leaders. We stand up for what's right, period. And what drew me into nursing was the fact that we can speak our minds and we advocate for what's right. This is why we're the #1 trusted, profession out there, right? We're ethical and we do our best and we give 110, 150,000% of our minds, our hearts, and our body. We do a very good job. So when there's a history with nursing organizations, and when she was getting older, with Miss Doc was getting older, the ANA, came about, and she frowned about how both the ANA and the National League for Nursing Education, that now called the NLN, where their memberships were designed for middle to upper class nurses. In other words, if you had bachelor's on up, or if you had master's on up, then you were considered as, that's what those organizations would consider you as a part of the team, like a clique. That many nurses felt that they were being left out by not feeling like the problems that they were going through were being identified. And that's where I feel Nurses Against Violence Unite makes that gap filled, because we don't charge you anything to be a part of us. If you want to donate, we would appreciate that, because it goes to marketing and it goes to helping us with the efforts that we're doing with t-shirts and stickers and giveaways and stuff like that. But it's not like when you pay a fee and you don't know what you're even getting out of it. Now, when it comes to, nursing education and stuff like that, that's wonderful. Lobbying, that's wonderful. But when it comes down to it, how much change are you seeing? So I kind of identify with this, with Miss Doc. So we have our next person, Miss Sojourner Truth, and she was born in 1797. Beautiful young lady. And the things I was reading about her, it is, she would even dress up to be undercover, just like Harriet Tubman, if she needed to. And she would help the Union Army with food, water, and money, or food, clothes, and money. In 1866, she sued the railroad company for enforcing illegal racial segregation. She was injured during the incident they were probably trying to get her off of the train, which is ridiculous. She pushed for rights for African Americans and women. She did not sit down. She continued to fight. She advocated for nursing education to give patients the best care that they should receive, because at that time, they didn't have any kind of curriculum. They didn't have anything that was put together. And also, she will be one of the few that will be listed and on our redesigned $10 bill, which is kind of cool, and she's a nurse and she's freaking awesome, right? So we have a lot of history in nursing, and being a nurse doesn't mean that you just kind of do this and just hope that your job's going to be there the next day. It's becoming corporate. And here we have Miss Tubman, 1822. She was born in slavery, and she is, to me, the ultimate badass, because she escaped slavery in 1849 saying, "I've had enough. I'm not doing this. This is ridiculous and inhumane." And she did what she had to do. And on top of doing that, she formed the Underground Railroad and even dressed up like a man and served as an undercover spy and scout. She helped free over 300 people, 300 slaves. So she gave them another life. So Miss Tubman was more on the holistic side, where she didn't, turn to, like, they didn't have really, crazy antibiotics and all kinds of manufactured drugs that they have now. So, but she used the things that her mom, would give for different illnesses and stuff like that to try to help people recover. And Miss Tubman is also going to be on our $20 bill. So we have two nurses that are going to be on money, on currency. Really. If you don't, and between school and everything and trying to figure out how I could honor our African American nurses, this was how I felt that I could, and I will continue to do more. We are all together supposed to be there for each other, and there is a lot of racism still in nursing and healthcare, and we need to stop that. We have a lot of nurses that, as I mentioned in the event, where there was a nurse that was trying to save a man with his cavity open, his chest cavity that was open. She was African American, and this is a white male. She didn't see his color. She did not see anything other than this man needed her help. And they were saying, "Hey, hold on to his heart," because it was leaking, right? Because he had punctured it. Well, he was calling her the N-word and saying all kinds of horrible, vile things. And I'm not sure from the account of when the nurse told me if other people stood up, but there should have been. And people seem to think that, yes, it is a part of your job, but is it really to take that abuse? No, it's not. It's not. And there should be other people that should stand up and say, "You know what? Enough with that, sir. Let's go ahead and let's focus on getting you better." That's uncalled for. You need to apologize or whatever. There needs to be a foot put down firmly, kindly, and to be able to set patients straight when they're saying things that are hurtful, right? It doesn't matter if your hand's in their chest. They're saying that stuff. Now that's uncalled for, sir. Now you might think that what I'm saying is kind of ridiculous, and it does sound kind of ridiculous. But if you don't start, when are you going to start? And we have one more, and of course there's many women and many, I'm sure, men out there that we have not found yet. Miss Mabel Keaton Stopper, she was born in 1890. She passed away in 1989, and she focused on breaking down color barriers in nursing. Coming from the bubble, I feel that because when I grew up in the DC area for the most part, and I just never really, I thought everybody felt the same way that I did. You know, I never, it kind of makes me very sick of the things that I see out there. I've even broken off of a relationship because I finally heard what they said about the other race. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. I can't. Miss Mabel, in 1948, lobbied for nurses to have the opportunity to join the American Nurses Association in 1948. And also the military without, you know, so she worked to try to get both, because the Caucasian folks, the nurses, were able to go into World War II to be in the draft and to help, but African-American nurses were not allowed to. And so she pushed and pushed and pushed and was able to, you know, I believe it was 1948, I believe it was, is when they opened up everything and allowed all the nurses to work together to help save the soldiers. Miss Stoppers also organized an inpatient clinic for African Americans with TB at the Booker T. Washington Sanatorium, and also mobilized, again, the largest protest efforts for African American nurses to serve in the draft of World War II. And she also wrote a book documenting all of her time, you know, and during all of this process, No Time for Prejudice, a story of the integration of African Americans in nursing in the United States. So I find that with these women, 2 of them are going to be on currency, and that is just nothing compared to what they've suffered, what they have done, and what they have contributed to nursing. For that, we honor them, and we honor all of our nurse friends that are out there that are pushing the line, that are out there, they're busting their tail trying to make change. They're also giving people a hug, even though that they're saying, don't touch anyone, right? Because of COVID. They're working overtime. They're putting their lives in danger. Sometimes they're wearing secondhand masks, you know, that they sanitize. Conditions are really quite crappy out there. And the morale, the job satisfaction, turnover, burnout, acute stress reactions, and PTSD are just all just a part coming together in this big ball of trauma that we have to help each other get through. Now, when we have such leaders that have shown us through their dedication, through their tears, and the people that would say, you know what, and they would say whatever to them, did they stop? Did they say, you know what, you're right, I'm not doing nothing. I've had it. Nope. I'm just going to let it go. I just want to skirt on in life. Well, that's not what they did. Now, this is a call to action out there. And I know that it's like, oh, here she goes again, blah, blah, blah. But there's some people out there that have not heard me say this. Change does not happen just wishing for it to go away. Change happens from within. Change happens from taking the uncomfortable steps forward. It has to be you that helps yourself to say, you know what, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to go ahead and push forward. I'm not going to have that drink. I'm going to go and take a walk with my dog. I'm going to go and I'm going to call somebody and I'm going to talk to them and I'm going to stay positive the whole time on the phone. I'm going to set goals for myself to get out of this hole in order to keep pressing on. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, and this is something that I'm very passionate about. Did any one of these women, any one of these nurses sit down when times got hard? No, they did not. They absolutely did not. Do we stop talking about violence in healthcare? When it's fixed and we get laws, do we say, oh, okay, it's going to be magically better? No, we have to make the change happen. And that starts from within for us to get better and be stronger than we ever were. So when I say this, I mean this with everything about me. Growing up on the streets, I have been there. I've been homeless. I have been through the ringer. Okay. Growing up on my own since 16 years old, not even finishing the 9th grade, have my doctorate. Did I stop and say, you know what? I give up. I'm done. Okay. No. We have to stand up together. And if you're not able to, please contact me because I'll be happy to have a conversation with you so we can be a team. It is very important. Now, nursing has this culture where, okay, well, I'm not, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I know some of you guys might be laughing, but nursing has this culture where it's like eating your young, eating your old. It's a smorgasbord. I don't care what you say. I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to do what you say. I think you're absolutely crazy. Okay, all negative, right? Until you decide that last punch in the face, that last bit from administration, that nursing instructor that continues to drill you, even though that you do need to be drilled, but to a positive way to help you grow, not to put you down and make you feel like you're incompetent. These are all signs of incivility, bullying. These are things that hold you back, hold us back from getting to the next level. From not attending, like if we had like a seminar, right? Saying, okay, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to show up, and then you never show up. Well, how is change going to get done that way? No, it's not, right? But I will tell you this, I will show up. And you will see every time when I go out and I do something, I mean it. It may not be the perfect way. It may not be the way that other people might want it to be, but I'm going to tell you right now, like when I'm done with school, it's on because I'm done with school. I'm over it. And I will tell you this, there's going to be a whole lot more growth with Nurses Against Violence when things get better for me. When I get done with school, I cannot wait. I am waiting. I'm trying to get assignments done ahead of time. I am just really, really pushing everything with my power to get done. So how about we do that stuff together? What are you willing to do to get yourself ahead? What are you willing to do to get our profession better? Say hi to somebody that you never said hi to before. Maybe give somebody a hug, maybe with 2 gowns, you have a gown, they have a gown, 5 masks on your face. Who cares? Human touch, relationships is missing in nursing. By not being a good neighbor, by saying, you got to fulfill your commitments. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. Do I fulfill all my commitments? No. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm in school, people understand that. And I do my darndest to do it. I am here almost every Tuesday. I try very hard to do the masterminds on the Sundays that we have with our leadership. I do my best but I still show up, right? And they're wonderful. I love every single one of them. I'm not saying anything negative. But when it comes to you out there, we have over 30,000 people that watch us. What are you doing? Do you know there's over 2.86 million nurses out there that might even be crying in a corner because they have no idea how to break free from all of these chains that are on them, from administration retaliating against them about to lose their job, their peers are talking about them, nobody's supporting them. Literature states all of these things with big organizations, but nothing is happening. There's no legislation. Do you think that legislation is going to change everything overnight? No, it's not. It's just not. We have to be the change. And if we are not willing to take it at full throttle and make it happen, it's not going to ever happen. So when I tell you this with great love. And we have to watch out for one another. I have the utmost respect for my profession, the utmost respect for each and one of you. If I do something, I expect to be called out on it. If somebody in my organization says something, I expect them to get called out on it. This is a very transparent organization. Are we perfect? No. Right? So what I want to say is I hope you can consider these badass women as a part of you, because they are. You have that. You have that drive. You have that inside of you. We all do. So with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful week. And I look forward to our webinar next week. So have a good night.